We'd like to start the press conference by Foreign Minister Kamikawa. Over to you, Madam. I have one point to raise. Earlier, Mr. Yasunaga, chair of the Development Cooperation Promotion Committee, came and gave us some recommendations on cooperation with the Global South. I agree that it is important for Japan to be chosen as a necessary country, as the recommendation states. I have always attached great importance to cooperation with the Global South. However, the Global South is not a monolithic group of countries, and I believe that we need to deal with them carefully, taking into account their regional and national circumstances and historical backgrounds. From this perspective, I have visited earlier this month Africa and Southwest Asia. And ever since I have become minister, I have visited Southeast Asia, the Middle East, the Pacific Island countries, Central and South America, and other regions since becoming minister, including visit to Africa and Southwest Asia earlier this month. Through my meetings with foreign ministers there and exchange of views with various stakeholders, including Japanese companies, I was able to sense a high level of trust in and expectations of Japan. Through such experiences, I keenly felt that in order to tap the Global South vitality and incorporate that into our growth, we need to effectively support Japanese businesses and their activities across borders. From such a standpoint, earlier we have designated economic officials in charge of cross-border affairs so that we can answer to expectations of Japanese businesses doing a large-scale business across boundaries in Africa so that they can deal with broad area issues and gather information on businesses, awareness of issues and circumstances and needs, so that we could express our existence as a flexible and strong economic power, inclusive of the recommendations this time. We want to liaise closely with Keidanren and the economic circles to continue our approaches. That is all from me.
If you have a question, please raise your hand. If you are designated, please ask question after identifying your name and affiliation. Kyodo Tsushin, Kyodo Nishiyama. Excuse me. Excuse me. My question is Foreign Minister Cho Tae-will of ROK for the first time visited Beijing, China for the first time in 6.5 years on the 13th. What is the take of the Japanese government and what is the coordination status of the summit meeting among Japan, China, ROK, and what will be the impact of this visit to the summit meeting? What is your take? ROK's Foreign Minister Cho Tae-will visited Beijing, China on the 13th and conducted China ROK Foreign Ministerial meeting. Japan, China, ROK has a great responsibility for the peace and prosperity of the region, and as to his visit, Japan pays close attention. And as for the Japan-China ROK summit, the schedule has not been fixed, but at the last November Japan-China ROK Foreign Ministerial meeting, we concurred to accelerate work so that the summit meeting can be held at the early timing. Japanese government would like to support the initiative of ROK, that is a chair country. Next question.
Matsuyama-san, Asahi Shimbun, please. Matsuyama from Asahi Shimbun. I'd like to raise a question about the Middle East situation. On the 13th in Gaza, the UN motorcade came under attack, and one of the staff passed away. The Chief Cabinet Secretary has mentioned this, but if there's additional information that the government has, please inform us of this. On the 13th of May, local time, in Rafah, in the Gaza region, an UN official came under attack. One has died and one was injured. In the Gaza region, up until now, a lot of civilians, including assistance providers, have been sacrificed, having come under attack. To UN staff and the civilians, which are trying very hard to provide assistance to the people of Gaza, have been victimized, and we are gravely concerned. I'd like to express our heartfelt condolences to all of the victims, and our heart goes out to the families, and we express our sympathy to those who have been injured, so that no further civilians or assistance providers would become casualties. We urge that all of the relevant persons act in accordance to international law and international humanitarian law. Thank you.
中国新聞宮野 Hello. In the first part of 2024 and the first part of 2025, 中国新聞 found out that the U.S. is planning to conduct a subcritical nuclear experiment. Russia has a possibility of making preparation for this. As for this subcritical nuclear experiment, this is go against the world without nuclear. So Hiroshima City and nuclear bomb survivors lodged protest. What is your take and the government response on this? Thank you. Generally speaking, as for this subcritical nuclear experiment, does not entail nuclear explosion that is prohibited by the CTBT. Generally speaking, as for the subcritical nuclear experiment, which does not include nuclear explosion, from the position of aiming at the world without nuclear as we deal with the nuclear disarmament, this is the issue that we need to consider. As for Japan, in order to realize the world without nuclear weapon, we hope that CTBT will become effective earlier on. FFMCT negotiation should start early on in March. There is a UNSC meeting is being coordinated. Thank you.
Kudo-san, Yomiuri Shimbun, please. Kudo, Yomiuri Shimbun. U.S. Republican Senator Graham continues to make statements related to atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, justifying this. On the 8th, there was such a statement, and you have protested, Minister, and you have disclosed this. On the 12th, he again said something to justify the atomic bomb. Two such repetitive statements. What is your take on this, and how would you respond going forward? I am aware of the statements which are made. I believe that it is extremely regrettable that such statements have been repeated on the part of our country with respect to the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We feel that many valuable lives are lost, and through illnesses and through disabilities, there were struggles which are unspeakable, and it has brought a situation which is extremely regrettable from the humanitarian standpoint. As on the part of the government, as we have made clear in the past, nuclear weapons are such that they have tremendous destructive power and lethal power, and it goes against the spirit of humanitarianism, which is at the base of international law. And with regard to Japan's thinking on the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, in response to the exchanges that took place in the Senate Ways and Means Committee, we have protested to the office of the Senator Graham. The scourge of what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki should not be repeated. Based on this belief toward the realization of a world free of nuclear weapons, we want to cooperate with the United States to take realistic and practical approaches, inclusive of Senator Graham. to promote accurate understanding of the actual situation with regard to the bombing. We would like to continue our efforts. With this, we'd like to conclude. Thank you very much.